Picture this: a city that never sleeps, its heartbeat pulsing through the veins of steel and glass, and me, Jasmine, caught in the middle of it all at 31 years old. I'm not sure when I started measuring my life by the hum of the overpriced espresso machine in our kitchen, but every morning, it's the first sound I hear. It grinds and steams while I stand by the floor-to-ceiling windows of our skyscraper apartment, staring out at a metropolis that feels both too close and impossibly far away. The view is breathtaking, endless lights flickering like a sea of stars, but it's a beauty I've stopped feeling. My husband, Cole, is already halfway out the door by the time the coffee's ready. He's a force of nature, a businessman who built his empire from the ground up, always moving, always commanding. I admire him for it, or at least I used to. Now, I just watch him go, his tailored suit disappearing into the elevator, leaving behind a silence so thick it presses against the glass walls of our home. We don't fight, Cole and I. That would require something raw, something real. Instead, we drift through our days in a polished, hollow routine. Mornings are wordless, me handing him his coffee, him nodding a quick thanks before his mind is already on the next deal. Evenings, if he's home, are spent in separate orbits. I'm the perfect wife at his business dinners, though, smiling just right, laughing at the right cues, blending into the background while he owns the room. I've gotten good at it, fading away. My dress is always impeccable, my words measured, but inside, there's this quiet ache I can't name. It's not loud enough to shatter anything, not yet, but it's there, tucked beneath the surface of our pristine life. I wonder sometimes if he notices it too, or if he's too busy conquering the world to see the cracks in ours. Our apartment doesn't help. It's all sharp edges and modern lines, a space that looks like it belongs in a magazine but feels like a museum. Nothing is out of place, not a single coffee cup left on the counter, not a throw blanket unfolded. It's as if even the air knows it's supposed to stay still. I walk through it barefoot sometimes, just to feel something against my skin. But even the cold marble floors can't pull me out of this numbness. I've tried filling the silence with music, with podcasts, with anything, but it always creeps back in. And in those quiet moments, I catch myself wondering what I'm even doing here, playing this role in a life that feels like it belongs to someone else. There are people in Cole's world who orbit around us, faces I've learned to recognize at those endless dinners and events. One of them is Archer, his business partner. I've only met him a handful of times, but there's something about him I can't quite shake. He's not like Cole, not in the way he carries himself. Where Cole is all sharp edges and relentless drive, Archer has this quiet intensity, a way of watching the room like he's seeing things no one else does. I've caught his gaze across crowded tables before, and it always feels like he's looking straight through the polished version of me, searching for something I'm not sure I even know how to show. It's unsettling, but I can't deny there's a pull there, a curiosity I've never acted on. Until tonight, I didn't think I'd have a reason to. It's late, later than I'm used to being awake these days, when my phone buzzes on the counter. I'm standing in the kitchen, the city lights casting long shadows across the marble, when I see Cole's name flash on the screen. My heart does a little stutter. Cole doesn't call unless it's urgent. I pick up, and his voice comes through, clipped and tight, like he's holding something back. Jasmine, I need you to come to the office. 47th floor, downtown. We need to talk. It's important. That's it. No explanation, no warmth, just those words hanging in the air like a command. I open my mouth to ask what's wrong, but the line goes dead before I can get a word out. I stand there, phone still pressed to my ear, staring at my reflection in the dark glass of the window. My face looks pale, almost ghostly against the backdrop of the city, and I can't shake the feeling that something's off. Cole's never sounded like that before, not even during the worst of his business crises. This isn't just about a deal gone south. This feels personal, I hesitate, my fingers tightening around the phone. Part of me wants to call him back, demand answers right now, but I know he won't pick up. Not when he's in that mode. So instead, I move, almost on autopilot, slipping out of the oversized sweater I've been lounging in and reaching for my tailored black coat. I catch a glimpse of myself in the hallway mirror as I pull it on, and I pause. The woman staring back at me looks composed, put together, but there are faint lines around my eyes, shadows of exhaustion I can't quite hide. I smooth my hair, take a deep breath, and grab my bag. Whatever this is, I'll face it head on. The elevator ride down from our apartment feels like it takes forever. Each floor ticks by on the digital display. 38, 37, 36, like a countdown to something I'm not sure I'm ready for. My stomach twists with every drop, a mix of curiosity and dread churning inside me. By the time I step into the underground garage, the cold air hits me like a slap, snapping me out of my haze. I slide into the car, the leather seats cool against my skin, and start the engine. The city unfolds around me as I drive, the streets a blur of neon and shadow, the hum of traffic a distant roar beneath my racing thoughts. I grip the steering wheel tighter than necessary, my knuckles pale against the dark leather, as I weave through the late-night chaos toward Cole's office building. The skyscraper looms ahead, a monolith of glass and steel piercing the sky, and as I pull into the underground parking, my pulse is a drumbeat in my ears. I step out, the click of my heels echoing in the empty space, and head for the elevator. The ride up to the 47th floor feels like an eternity, each ding of the passing floors ratcheting up the tension coiled in my chest. What could be so urgent that Cole needed me here at this hour? What couldn't wait until morning? When the doors finally slide open, I step into the dimly lit hallway, the silence of the office floor pressing against me. Cole's corner office is at the far end, its glass walls glowing faintly with the city lights beyond. My breath catches as I approach, seeing not just Cole, but Archer there, sitting across from an empty chair that I assume is meant for me. The door is slightly ajar, and I push it open, the soft creak announcing my arrival. Archer looks up first, his eyes locking onto mine with that same piercing intensity I've felt before, and my stomach does a strange flip. Cole isn't here, though, and that throws me off. Where is he? Why isn't he waiting for me like he said? Archer gestures to the chair opposite him, his voice smooth as he says, "Jasmine, please sit. Cole will be back soon." There's something in his tone I can't place, a weight that makes my skin prickle. I lower myself into the seat, the leather cool against my legs through the thin fabric of my dress, and try to steady my breathing. The city sprawls out beyond the glass walls, a glittering expanse of lights casting long shadows across the room, and I feel exposed, like the world outside is watching. Archer slides a glass of whiskey across the desk toward me, the amber liquid catching the faint glow of the desk lamp. I wrap my fingers around it, noticing the slight tremble in my hand as I lift it to my lips. The burn of the alcohol is sharp, grounding, but it does little to ease the unease knotting my insides. He leans back in his chair, his posture relaxed, but his gaze anything but. "Cole's complicated," he starts, his words slow, deliberate, like he's choosing each one with care. He sees things differently, not in the way most people do. I frown, the glass hovering near my mouth as I try to make sense of what he's saying. What does that even mean? Why are we talking about Cole like he's some kind of puzzle to solve? I want to ask, to demand clarity, but there's an electric tension in the air between us, a current I can't ignore, and it keeps me silent, waiting for him to go on. Then it happens. His hand moves, casual at first, brushing against my knee under the desk. It's a fleeting touch, barely there, but it sends a jolt through me, sharp and unexpected. My breath catches in my throat, and I freeze, the glass still in my hand as his fingers linger, tracing a slow path upward. The fabric of my dress shifts under his touch, and I'm caught in this paralyzing moment, torn between pulling away and the rush of something I haven't felt in so long, desire, raw and unfiltered. My mind screams at me to stop this, to stand up and walk out, but my body betrays me, rooted to the spot as heat pools in my core. Archer's eyes never leave mine, dark and unreadable, and when he speaks again, his voice is low, almost a whisper, slicing through the silence. He said he can't touch you, but he wants to see me do it. The words hit me like a physical blow, knocking the air from my lungs. My mind reels, scrambling to process what he's just said. Cole. Cole is behind this? This isn't some spontaneous, reckless moment of weakness on Archer's part. It's orchestrated, deliberate, and the realization crashes over me like a tidal wave, leaving me gasping for air. I'm still sitting in that chair, the leather creaking faintly under my weight, but it feels like the ground has dropped out from beneath me. My hands grip the glass of whiskey so tightly I'm surprised it doesn't shatter, the sharp edges of the cut crystal biting into my palm. The city hums beyond the glass walls, a distant, indifferent drone that only amplifies the suffocating silence in this room. I can't move, can't think straight, my body frozen as the weight of what just happened, and what was said, settles into my bones. I hear the door open behind me, a soft click that cuts through the haze in my mind, and I know it's him before I even turn. Cole, my husband. The man who, according to Archer, wanted this. My pulse hammers in my ears as I force myself to stay still, not daring to look at him just yet. I can feel his presence, though, heavy and commanding, filling the room without a single word. His footsteps are slow, measured, each one echoing in the stillness as he approaches. I'm still on the couch now, having shifted there in a daze after Archer stepped back, my legs tucked beneath me like I'm trying to make myself smaller, invisible. But there's no hiding from this. No escaping the reality that's closing in around me. Cole stops just a few feet away, and I finally lift my eyes to meet his. He's holding a tablet loosely in one hand, the screen dark but somehow ominous, like it holds secrets I'm not ready to face. His face, though, God, his face, is so calm it's unnerving. There's no anger, no betrayal, just this eerie tenderness in his expression that makes my stomach twist. His dark eyes, usually so sharp and calculating, seem softer now, almost reverent as they study me. He takes another step, then another, each movement deliberate, like he's savoring the tension stretching taut between us. The faint hum of the city outside feels louder somehow, a constant reminder of the world moving on while I'm stuck in this suffocating moment. My voice trembles as I try to speak, to say something, anything to break this unbearable silence, but the words won't come. They're caught in my throat, tangled up with the shame and confusion swirling inside me. I can feel my chest tightening, my breath shallow as Cole closes the distance. He kneels slightly, bringing himself to my level, his gaze never wavering from mine. Up close, I can see the faint lines etched into his face, the weariness he hides so well from everyone else. But there's something else there too, something I can't name, something that sends a shiver down my spine. Then he reaches out, his hand brushing against my cheek, the touch so light it's almost ghostly. My skin prickles under his fingers, a mix of warmth and dread flooding through me. I want to pull away, to demand answers, but I'm paralyzed, caught in the intensity of his stare. He leans in closer, and before I can process it, his lips press against my forehead. It's a kiss, soft and lingering, so intimate it feels like a cruel mockery after everything that's just unfolded. My breath hitches, a sharp, involuntary sound, as the weight of that gesture sinks in. It's not just a kiss, It's a statement, a claim, a twisted kind of forgiveness I don't understand. My mind is screaming, racing with questions I can't voice, as he pulls back just enough to look at me again. His voice, when he finally speaks, is a whisper, so soft it barely reaches me, but it cuts through the silence like a blade. I couldn't say it in words, but now I've seen it all. There's a reverence in his tone, a quiet awe that chills me to my core. What does he mean? Seen what? My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it, each beat a frantic drum in my chest. I search his eyes, desperate for clarity, as Cole pulls away from me, his words still echoing in my mind like a haunting refrain. I'm frozen on the couch, my body rigid, every muscle tense as if bracing for a blow that's already landed. He straightens up, turning his back to me, and walks slowly toward the massive window that dominates the office. The city lights frame him, casting a dark halo around his silhouette, making him look almost otherworldly, untouchable. I can't tear my eyes away from him, even as my mind churns with a storm of emotions, confusion, betrayal, fear, and something uglier I don't want to name. I'm waiting, holding my breath, for him to say something more, to explain what he meant by, "I've seen it all." But the silence stretches on, heavy and oppressive, broken only by the distant hum of the city beyond the glass. When he finally speaks, his voice is steady, almost detached, as if he's discussing a business transaction rather than the unraveling of our marriage. "Now, it's your turn to sit in the shadows and watch." Each word lands like a stone in the pit of my stomach, sinking deeper, pulling me into a reality I can't escape. I feel the weight of them pressing down on me, suffocating, as if the air in the room has thickened. My mind races to decipher his meaning, but deep down, I already know. It's not just about tonight, not just about what happened with Archer. It's a proposition, a shift in the very foundation of who we are to each other. He's rewriting the rules, imposing a new dynamic on our fractured relationship, and I'm not sure I have the strength to resist it. He turns to face me then, his eyes cold but burning with an intensity I can't look away from. It's not anger I see there, nor jealousy, but something far more unsettling, obsession maybe, or a twisted kind of love that I've never understood. My chest tightens as I realize the depth of what he's asking. He wants me to play the role he did tonight, to sit back and observe as he crosses lines of his own. The thought sends a shiver through me, a mix of revulsion and a dark, shameful curiosity I can't quite suppress. My heart is racing now, a wild, erratic beat that I can feel in my throat, my wrists everywhere. My mouth is dry, my tongue heavy, as I try to form words, but nothing comes. My hands, still resting in my lap, begin to tremble, the faint shake betraying the turmoil inside me. I push myself up from the couch, my legs unsteady beneath me as I stand. The room feels like it's tilting, the glass walls reflecting my fractured image back at me, a woman caught in a moment she doesn't recognize. I take a tentative step forward, then another, trying to find my footing both physically and emotionally. "What do you mean, Cole?" I finally manage to ask, though my voice is barely above a whisper, fragile and raw. I already know the answer, or at least I think I do, but I need to hear it from him. I need him to say it out loud, to confirm the nightmare I'm stepping into. But he doesn't answer directly. Instead, he tilts his head slightly, his gaze shifting past me toward the adjoining room where Archer disappeared moments ago. The implication is clear, a silent command that chills me to my core. This isn't the end of whatever game he's playing. It's only the beginning of something darker, something I'm not sure I can survive. I'm torn in that moment, my mind a battlefield of conflicting impulses. Part of me wants to run, to bolt for the door and escape this office, this building, this twisted version of my life. I can almost feel the cool metal of the elevator button under my finger, the relief of descending back to the ground floor, away from Cole's suffocating presence. But another part of me, a smaller, quieter part, holds me in place. It's the part that wonders if I've always known he was capable of this. If I've been blind to the shadows lurking beneath his polished exterior all these years. I stand there in Cole's office, the echo of his cryptic words still reverberating in my mind like a dissonant chord that won't fade. The air feels heavier now, as if it's pressing down on my shoulders, making every breath a conscious effort. I take a deep, shuddering inhale, trying to anchor myself, and press my palm against the cold glass of the window beside me. The chill seeps into my skin, a stark contrast to the heat of confusion and dread burning inside me. The city sprawls endlessly below, a labyrinth of lights and shadows, indifferent to the unraveling of my world up here on the 47th floor. I can see my reflection faintly in the glass, a ghostly outline of a woman I barely recognize. Eyes wide, lips parted, as if searching for answers in her own distorted image. I should run. Every instinct screams at me to turn on my heel, to flee this suffocating space, and the man who's turned our marriage into a game I never agreed to play. But my feet remain rooted to the polished floor, as if they've made a decision my mind hasn't caught up with yet. Instead of bolting for the door, I turn my gaze back to Cole, who's still standing near the window, his silhouette framed by the urban glow. I nod slowly, a silent gesture that feels like signing a contract I haven't read. I'm not even sure why I do it, whether it's resignation to the inevitable, a flicker of curiosity about how far this will go, or some desperate need to reclaim a shred of control in this twisted dance we're locked in. Whatever it is, the nod feels final, a quiet surrender to terms I don't fully understand. Cole's lips curve into a faint smile, just a flicker of satisfaction that crosses his face like a shadow passing over still water. It's not a warm smile. Not the kind I used to see in the early days of our marriage when we'd steal moments between his endless meetings. This is something else, something calculated, as if he's just closed a deal he knew he'd win. Without another word, he turns and walks toward the adjoining room, his steps measured and unhurried, the door left slightly ajar behind him. The soft click of his shoes against the floor fades, leaving me alone again in this cavernous office, the silence so thick it feels like it could swallow me whole. I don't move right away. My hand is still pressed against the glass, the cold now numbing my fingertips, grounding me in a way I desperately need. I stare at my reflection again, searching for something. Courage, maybe, or clarity. But all I see is a woman caught in a storm she didn't see coming. The guilt gnaws at me, sharp and relentless, for the moment with Archer, for the way my body responded even as my mind recoiled. I can still feel the ghost of his touch on my skin, a memory that makes my stomach churn with shame. And then there's the shock of Cole's revelation, the sickening truth that he orchestrated it, watched it, wanted it. It's a violation I can't wrap my head around, a betrayal that cuts deeper than any argument or affair ever could. But beneath all of that, there's something even more unsettling. A realization that I'm stepping into a new chapter of our marriage, one where the boundaries I thought we had no longer exist. It's not just a crack in the foundation, it's a complete demolition, and I'm standing in the rubble, unsure if I should rebuild or walk away. I linger there by the window, not ready to follow Cole just yet. My eyes drift to the desk where Archer had sat earlier, to the glass of whiskey still resting there, half empty, a remnant of a moment that changed everything. I walk over, my movements slow, almost mechanical, and pick it up. The crystal feels heavy in my hand, the amber liquid catching the dim light as I tilt it to my lips. I take one last sip, the burn sharp and familiar as it slides down my throat, mirroring the ache in my chest. It doesn't numb the pain or the confusion, but it steadies me, just enough to keep moving forward. I set the glass down, take a deep breath, and step out into the night, ready to face whatever comes next. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.